Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. Today we are in Tainted Grail Conquest, once again covering another character of the game. This time round we are going to be talking about all things Blood Mage. Now, I've recently covered the other two summoners. This is the last summoner of the game. And so we're going to be talking about tips, tricks, hints, that kind of thing, my guide to playing as the Blood Mage. Now, personally, I found that the Blood Mage was possibly the most reliable for dealing out early good quality damage early in the game, the quickest out of the three summoners. However, bear in mind that being a blood mage kind of means that you are sacrificing your own blood to get out your minions. Now, when you very first start the game, you're going to be a little bit worried about that because in general, this game is hard to get health anyway. The Blood Mage does make up for this, though the way their mechanics work are very different to the other summoners. So health can be gotten very quickly, very easily, if you know how to manipulate this character. However, that being said, the Blood Mage does need a little bit more strategy than the other summoners, in my opinion. So yeah, anyway, that's what this video is going to be about. If you enjoy it, if you want to see more videos just like this, I'll be covering every single class in the game. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and of course comment your thoughts down below. So if I miss any tips and tricks, pop them down below so the other audience and the community can kind of share and grow together. Now, at the beginning, you get a choice between the standard 3 minions. My choice, especially with the Blood Mage, I think it's got to be the golem. It kind of has been with all of the summoners, but I think having that minion that's there ready and able to tank shots for you, meaning your health, your important health isn't being targeted, is very important. So yeah, we're going to go for the golem. We also have an active and growing Discord, guys. So if you want to join there, talk about this game or any game that you enjoy playing, feel free to join. The link for that will be down in the description. So the first thing we're going to do, obviously, I'm continuing like a playthrough. So I've got most of my village unlocked, most of the villages. I've also got the quest cards unlocked as well. So instead of getting more health, we're going to get a quest card. And I think, having a quick look, we're going to go for Sloth. I quite like Sloth. And again, if you guys have unlocked the Wolf, I wouldn't recommend it for this character. Will just get in the way. Let's go find a nice little battle. I think the best way to demonstrate these classes is with the battles. That way you can see exactly what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and why I'm doing it, more importantly. So we've got a few options. Now the Fae with the Blood Mage is unbelievably good. Personally, I didn't really like it with a standard summoner. It was a bit more useful with the Necromancer, but with the Blood Mage, whoosh, you absolutely positively need it. And the reason being so is because when it activates, it will give you charges towards your ultimate. So the ultimate in this game is really, really useful. Basically, it will deal an overcharge. Now, what's different with the Blood Mage is that every round that passes, your minions not only activate, but they also level, which is really cool. However, they have a level cap of 4, so they can only get to level 4. When they get to level 4, or when they go to promote beyond level 4, they go into something that's called an overcharge state. Now, every minion has a different overcharge state, but if you get your ultimate up to full, up to 12 charges, you will be able to have 400% increase of the overcharge state, whatever that overcharge may be. So let's get out our Bloodworm, and we're going to get out our Fae as well. We're going to look at all of them. Can't look at the Abomination just yet, but I'm sure that will pop up. So if we look at the Blood Fae, the overcharged state, which is what we're talking about right now, it's very important, the overcharged state. We're going to be overcharging a lot throughout the course of our playthrough as the Blood Mage. And the overcharge for the Fae is it increases the Blood Mage damage by 100%, which is important again, but it also decreases the damage of all enemies by 30% for this turn. So having a Blood Mage on board is really, really useful. Like I said, every single round, your minions will activate and promote. When the Fae activates, its current level will be contributing to your overall ultimate. So if this Fae was level 4, we'd get 4 charges. As level 1, every round we'd get 1 charge. Moving on to the Blood Golem. Blood Golem is very good again. When it comes to the overcharge, it will heal all allies, including yourself. Now, whatever heal bar it currently has, so for instance, right now we are healing 10. We get that 10 once it levels past level 4. However, if we was to use our overcharge ability, our ultimate ability, well, that's going to be 40 health, not 10 health. So it's really, really useful. That's kind of how we get our health back as the Blood Mage, which is brilliant. Also, something else to talk about when it comes to the Blood Golem. Once you're at level 4 on every single minion, you get an extra kind of ability once you get to that max state. Now, with the Blood Golem, it actually gets an attack, and it gets a pretty powerful attack too. Hopefully, we'll be able to show that later in the video, but it's something to watch out for. When it comes to the Worm, once it gets to level 4, every level it gets an extra attack. So right now, we are just standard 1 attack. On level 2, it'd be 2 attacks. Once you get to level 4, it will be 4 attacks. Now, with the overcharge state, you deal 1 damage for 200%, and you reduce the armor of the target you hit. You shred away that armor. It's kind of brilliant, especially when you're level 4, for instance. You're shredding an awful lot of armor. And of course, once you go to your special ability and trigger that 400% overcharge, the Bloodworm can be absolutely amazing for taking out those bosses. When you're the summoner, the Worm takes out the bosses, the Abomination takes out almost everything else. With the Blood Mage though, it's the Faes that you want to try and have on board. The Fae and the Golem, and then obviously a damage dealer as well. So let's go ahead and kind of go through this round. As you see, everyone's activating. After they activate, they all level up as well, which is quite cool. Now, something we get as the Blood Mage is we get this. A blood preparation, mean we offer more blood, and we get a summon card. So let's do that. We got another Blood Golem, which is fine for this. I kind of wanted to show off the Abomination now, unfortunately. So let's use Sloth and get that upgraded. Armor is still important for the Golem, because obviously the more armor the Golem has, the less damage it's going to be taking. So that's something to consider when you're kind of like building your decks up. End our turn again. Everyone activates, everyone levels up. Of course, the Fae, every time it activates, it's giving us more charges, meaning it's boosting up our ultimate charge, which is absolutely brilliant. That's what we want. We did finally get the Abomination though, so let's get that out. We also got an activation. Instead of activating the Worm, which will deal more damage, what I'm actually going to do is activate the Fae. And as you saw, we got 3 more charges as well. Let's move over to the Blood Abomination. So its Overwatch is a massive hit, much like the Worm. It's a 200% hit. It will automatically do this. You don't have to do your special power as well. That's just on top of. So the Blood Abomination will attack every target for 200% damage of whatever it is at level 4. or whenever you put it into overcharge, sorry. Because if we had the full charges, or even if we activate it now, it will go automatically into overcharge. But obviously you don't really want to be doing this at level 1 and 2. Really, you want to be activating them all at level 4, because that's when they're going to be doing the most damage. There we go. So let's activate. We are at level 4 right now. We don't need the health, so I don't really need to overcharge my golem 400%. Really little point to that, but if you notice it, now it's at level 4. It's got the attack above its head too, meaning at the end of this turn, when it not only heals itself, it will go into overcharge, heal all the enemies, and it will also do an attack as well. If we was to straight up activate it, you'll see it actually deal out that attack after it heals itself. So like I said, the attack on the golems actually something kind of interesting and unique to the Blood Mage. But we are going to use our special overcharge, and let's do it on the worm. Dealt a massive amount of damage. Now, when it comes to card picking, what you really want to be doing is building your deck with as much sacrifices as possible, as in you offering up your blood to summon a new thing. Now, having a Fae is absolutely great. Honestly, the more monsters and summons you kind of have in the Blood Mage deck, the better, because the last thing you want to be doing is pulling a hand full of nothing. If you can't summon a creature, if you can't summon a massive field of creatures, that's when the Blood Mage really begins to have issues. I think, like I said, the Blood Mage is one of those creatures, or one of the classes in the game, which is the fastest to kind of deal the bigger damage. However, I found that in the longer battles, in the battles where you kind of need to be chipping away at 1500 health, it's going to take you, you're not going to be able to take out that 1500 health quickly, meaning you're going to have to repeat the field that you've just played. And if you get to a stage where you just can't put out as many minions as possible, or if you're just churning out those level 1 minions, it's kind of an up and go roller coaster ride when it comes to the Blood Mage. Absolutely brilliant for short game. When it comes to long game, the Blood Mage unfortunately can struggle quite a bit. I found that out absolutely perfectly in my last playthrough. Everything was going swimmingly. Like, it was a great playthrough. I felt very overpowered, but I came up against 3 1500 health bosses, and although I ended up winning, it was extremely tough to make it through that playthrough, because, you know, in 3 turns, it doesn't matter if I've got 4 minions out, you know, in 4 turns, those minions are going to go into overcharge and they're all going to die. And if I can't replace the field, that's when you have issues. Promotions in this deck aren't really all that needed. In fact, if you end up removing them from your deck, probably won't be a bad call. The only thing I tend to use promotion cards on are Fae, because I want those charges as quickly as possible. Again, that's kind of goes into why, partly why, the Blood Mage build is kind of a quick hit kind of game. You want to try and get your fights over and done with as quick as possible. Let's just end this turn. Everyone activates. We're almost up to fully charged already. That was nice and quick. We're going to get our Bloodworm in. And let's have an activation of an abomination. And of course, this turn now, the abomination is level 4, which is when we would want to trigger that overdrive. In fact, let's use the sloth card. I needed to do that anyway. Use blood preparation just to get the last charge we need. And the overcharge on the abomination absolutely devastates. It's like a bomb going off with the abomination. It is my favorite damage dealer minion when it comes to any summoner. But like I said, those worms, they can come in very handy when it comes to fighting a singular target. I think when I very first started playing as the Blood Mage, I was a little bit taken back by, sacrificing so much health all the time. But I very quickly realized that you can go into each battle with very low health, because at the end of the day, all of these summons, they only cost a fraction of your health. So the more health you got, the more blood they're going to cost. And as long as you can keep protection, as long as you can keep a barrier, as long as you can keep a blood golem alive, the AI aren't attacking your health anyway. I think we're going to go for 2 try and get our charges up and running as quickly as possible. And let's even promote one. We'll also activate one. And we will put the increased armor on the golem as well. That's a good idea. Yeah, guys, so if I end up forgetting anything, or maybe you are, you've mastered your Blood Mage and I haven't mentioned a strategy or a combination that you guys like to use, let me know down in the comments down below. I'd be very interested to know how you play this character, what your thoughts on this character are. And it also helps the community as a whole as well to kind of get as much information out there as possible. This game is newly released on the Xbox. It's been on the PlayStation a while. So I know that a lot of Xbox users are kind of getting into this game right now. I think it's a smaller game as well. So not as many people know of it, unfortunately. Let's promote our golem. Promote the golem, and then we're going to overcharge the golem as well. That's going to explode and it will heal us up. See, we got 40 health from that. So, we were 50 health, almost nothing, and then boom, blood golem does it. And we got most of our health back again. It's kind of one of the benefits of the Blood Mage is that health is actually relatively easy to come by as long as you've got plenty of golems. I think overloading your deck with more golems is a good idea. It's definitely not going to hurt your game, and it's going to make it a lot easier as well. Let's activate that. We're going to put on... Tell what we'll do. We'll activate the promotion, get the abomination to level 4. And as you see on level 4, the abomination actually has the ×2 attack as well. Every minion, like I said earlier, every minion ends up having more effects, more abilities once they hit that level 4. So we really need a damage dealer out now. So that's why we didn't get a damage dealer, but we did get a golem, which isn't bad. Let's promote our Fae. Get another charge in. We'll actually have enough for another overcharge on the next turn. Not that we've got anyone at the correct level, however. But like I said, you can use it on any level. Like, you don't have to do it on a level 4. It's just that's what you should do to kind of optimize your game. Okay, we promote. Get the abomination out. And get some health back for us. Bloodworm out. Fae out. Having two Faes really isn't a bad option either. I would prefer golems, to be fair, at this stage, because we don't have a golem. There's one. And let's activate our level 3. So almost dead. Don't have to do anything. However, as we know it's going to be dead, it's probably a good idea to... It's probably a good idea to activate your overcharge on your golem. Just to kind of give you a little bit more health back. There we go. Before you end your turn. And there we go. Lovely jubbly. And we get to pick a brand new card again. Draw a card for every minion you currently in combat. That could be a decent one, to be fair. I think what I'm actually going to do, though, is respin. And yeah, a card like this is absolutely brilliant. This is kind of what you want to be putting in your deck to make it stronger. Offer 10% of your max HP. In our case, it would be 13. And you get to summon 2 blood golems. 2 pillars, great card to add. Should we do one more battle? We'll do one more battle. See what we kind of get with this next battle. And we'll ignore that for right now. And yeah, let's go there here. We'll do one more battle. This is a good one. We're up against 3 enemies, so it should be a little bit harder straight away. Get our 2 pillars. But I think we're gonna need our Fae out, to be fair. And we want a damage dealer, so let's get our abomination out. That's a very good choice, I think. Now, I have the luxury of using a wooden flute, which creates a 20 barrier. If I didn't have that currently, instead of getting out that abomination, putting a barrier on really isn't a bad idea. Against these little enemies, though, we should have been fine without it. As you saw, the golem survived. Yeah, let's have a second golem out. We will promote the Fae because we want the charges, more charges, as quickly as possible. And we'll end our turn. Watch everyone activate and, of course, level up afterwards. There we go. Pop the armor on the golem. Good idea. Let's activate the Fae. Now, I mean, a choice here, because activating overcharging the Fae is a really good idea. But I think I'm going to save it for the abomination on the next turn. So let's quickly pop on an extra barrier. And we activate the abomination. Just to chip away, start chipping away at their health. There we go. So let's do the overcharge on the abomination. It's going to do mad damage. Literally like a bomb exploding. Absolutely devastating. And that's it, guys. I think I'm going to leave this here. I think I've covered everything that I can talk about with the Blood Mage. Honestly, I found the Blood Mage actually very, very easy to use. I think out of the three summoners, the Blood Mage is probably the easiest to use and the quickest to kind of get that damage in. However, like I said, in those longer battles, unfortunately, the Blood Mage can suffer. It can be very volatile. Your game as a Blood Mage should or will ride like a roller coaster. Sometimes you're going to be absolutely on top power, dealing out devastating power. However, at other times, you're going to very quickly find that the Blood Mage lacks in any power whatsoever because you're having to deal out those level 1 minions, and if you don't get out enough minions, or if you don't get out the minion that you need for the moment in battle at that time, you're going to seriously struggle. Also, it'd be interesting to note, guys, that I've been doing all of this on difficulty 2. So the enemies we've been fighting have been a little bit tougher, but like I said, the Blood Mage is a very easy build, very quick build, and I think it's probably the easiest one out of all three summoners to actually pick. But let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on the Blood Mage, who your favorite summoner is, and maybe if I've missed a tip or trick that you guys know, or a combination that I haven't spoken about. Pop it down in the comments for it, and very interested to know what you guys think. But until next time, guys, I've been a monk, we've been Critically Clueless, and I'll see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy, and of course, happy gaming.